I'm Marley.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Kendra.
Welcome to Cafe Hachidori.
Okay, what are you guys drinking today?
I have peppermint tea today. I'm mixing it up a little bit.
Switching it up. I'm taking your place and I've got green peach tea.
I think Marley already knows, but I have something called a white Coke. It is not a drug, that sounds really bad, but...
It does. It sounds like you're doing cocaine. Liquid cocaine. Are you doing cocaine, Maria?
No. Remember that monthly care package that I mentioned a few episodes back?
Right. Uh-huh.
In this month's package, I got a bottle of Coke, but it's like white and opaque.
What does it taste like?
It tastes just like Coke.
Then why is it white?
I mean,
Magic.
Why isn't it white?
Anyway, let's go right into Blendez characters.
Yay!
So, brief synopsis of Blendez before we get into it, because this is a new series. Blendez is about a cafe called Steeler, and basically all of the people, all the maids at that cafe, they have personalities or personas that they take on as they serve their customers. The anime is just a cute old slice of life rom-com thing. Don't want to go into the rom-com aspect of it.
It's so funny, though.
But it's great. But today, we're talking about the characters. Alright, let's start with Micah. Beautiful Micah, who is the characteristic of sadistic.
So cute. So small.
But her otaku nature revolves around foreign culture fetishes, which I think is the best thing ever.
It's a very brand new aspect in anime, I love it.
When they first explained that, I was just like, oh my god, I absolutely adore this. Because her family is so traditional Japanese, and then she's just like, everything foreign, please.
And it's so great.
And it's not like she rejects her culture or anything, it's just that she just...
She has an admiration for this outside world.
Yeah. So, I really, really like that aspect of her. In general, Micah is a very safe character, though.
My only problem with Micah is that people keep on saying that she has, like, really stern-looking eyes, and that's what's caused her to not have friends, just the look in her eyes. But you look at her in, like, posters and promo videos, and she looks fucking adorable.
You're right.
But, like, she just had some cat eyes, just really sharp-looking eyes, and she's super cute. She has no problem, like, looking really mean. I just couldn't, like, understand that problem right there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless she's nervous all the time, which would be... She doesn't seem to be nervous all the time when she's at the cafe, so it's hard to believe that she's nervous all the time to the point where she wouldn't have any friends at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, in general, the only thing that when she does not, is she's not being the nice person, is when she's talking to her siblings, really.
Yeah.
So...
My other problem with Micah was the voice acting directions. Specifically when Micah, like you guys said, when she grows nervous and she has that demeanor. Anytime she has that look, or when the camera's like looking up at her and she has that face, her voice actress puts on a really low and husky, kind of threatening sounding voice to make it emphasized. But my problem was that sometimes she doesn't mean to make that face, like when she appears in the first episode trying to be friendly to a cat. She doesn't mean to look like that, but her voice matches it anyways. I would have thought it would have been really funny if she had like a cutesy, bubbly voice with that look to make that gap happen and kind of, heighten the comedy, but I guess the voice director decided otherwise.
That would have been great, Maria. Oh my god.
Right, like she has those half-open eye glare and she's like, hi, here you little kitty, and then they just run away.
Because it would make more sense, I mean, yeah, you're right. Oh man.
And I definitely think that would have made that one scene where she has like her little dominatrix phase with that voice change would have been much more hilarious in that sense had they done that. Because that scene in and of itself is amazing and ridiculous, but...
Alright, on to Kaho.
Right.
Kaho.
I love Kaho.
She is our beautiful tsundere, but she's not actually. That's her character. Which I think is great that she is because she has the blonde twin tails. Which, she's a blonde, but she's not supposed to be a blonde. Because the only blonde is supposed to be Dino.
True.
But she has blue eyes too, so...
Well, she shouldn't look like a foreigner. So I'm like, does that mean like she already had her hair dyed before she went to the cafe?
Or if she has
she
like
wear
mixed
contacts?
parentage or something like that.
Yeah. I'm interested. But yes, Kaho's ability with games is like top tier, kind of scary, actually scary, beautiful. Like that girl could go and do like the crane games and win every single time.
That's me!
Like, I'm jealous. But like I did, first time I like finished the first episode, I had to look up what her character was supposed to be and what that meant.
Oh, do we need to define what tsundere is?
I didn't know what that meant at first, so I had to Google it.
Oh, I
Should we
assumed that was
define?
just standard anime
No.
lingo. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I had to do
Okay.
I had to do a little nerd research.
Tsundere is, well, it should be a term to define a change of feelings in a character, or behavior, I should say. So, tsun in Japanese means like kind of, how should I say it?
Cold. Cold is the word that I typically use to describe it.
It's kind of cold and like, I just lost the word I had in my mind.
Standoffish?
Yeah, just kind of don't touch me, kind of like a unfriendly almost. Just that general behavior. And then dere means like, just like all guards down, really affectionate, kinda. And so tsundere, that combined, describes a character's attitude going from cold to kind of loving, almost. Tsundere eventually grew into a character trope in which a character acts like she doesn't like you, but she actually does.
Yeah, a lot of like definitions for it sometimes use the word harsh or aloof, but like the basic idea is runs hot and cold, you know?
Yeah, so I had to find that out the hard way.
Kaho she's like a really good, like she is the definition of tsundere when she is acting in that character. After Kaho, anything else on Kaho? Or no, going on?
Going on.
Mafuyu, who is like my favorite character.
She's adorable. I love her.
I grew to love her as the season carried on.
She's short, which is absolutely beautiful and wonderful and perfection. Like, I could understand her on like a very like psychological level of like feeling awful when people are like, oh, you know, you look so young, child, and you're like, I'm not a child.
Like, I'm
Okay.
an adult.
Lord knows how many times people thought my younger brother was my older sibling.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah, no. Constantly get mistaken for a child on the regular.
So I really, really understood her character.
That's what we all do, because we're all not tall.
Yes. Short girls for the win, which is why I love her character. But otherwise, I really also like, I don't know, it's like really hard to explain why I love her so much, but I just do. I think it's because she's a college student and like like it just makes sense of what she does.
I just kind of really enjoy like her authority and kind of strength. Like she's kind of the one of like everybody, even with like the manager and the other guy who works in the kitchen, whose name I can't remember now at the top of my head, but she like really runs the ship between all of them, and she just has that kind of like really nice imbued strength and kind of control that I really admire in a lot of characters, especially for somebody who's really, really small and they like to
The
like,
ship
kind of
of-
that.
Do you mean like the ship as in like the... Like
Kaho
the
and
The
Akizuki,
cafe
or-
is like the metaphor.
The cafe.
It was
Yeah,
I meant, yeah.
yeah, she runs the cafe, really.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, I thought you meant like running the ship of specific couples.
No, it's a metaphor.
See, ship in this context means relationships.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. But yes, no, she runs the cafe. But I think what I really love about her character is that she does play as a little sister, which is like, you know, whatever. But like her deadpan humor is just absolutely beautiful.
It's amazing.
Which is why I'm like, if Maria's any character in this, it would be her.
Because you do that all of the time, and every time it floors me because I never see it coming.
I'm short, I'm a student, and I have the dry humor.
Yes. So then Amafuyu's otaku nature is magical girls, which I think is beautiful.
She takes it so seriously.
It doesn't help that she looks like a kid and she loves those kind of shows.
I know.
Which is the joke, and I love it.
It is. It's a beautiful running joke.
All right, want to move on to Miu? So Miu is our otaku of shipping. I guess the best way to put hers would be shipping, because she writes her own works that are basically shipping novels, and she ships everyone, and she's always like writing down like all that stuff. So I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, she's a shipper.
which is beautiful.
Such a dirty shipper, and it is beautiful.
But yeah, we don't get much about her. She came in really late into the anime, and...
Yeah, and even so, she was kind of very in and out as it was, but I thought it was funny. And the way that she came in, she had such a good, strong entrance.
There's a book here. Oh no, this is an 18 plus novel. But I don't really have much on Miyu, but I think that's because we don't know much about Miyu.
No, and I hope that, we get to see more of her in the future. Yeah, and I think she does wear contacts.
Okay.
All right, Hidari.
So cute.
Who is our trap?
What's interesting is we never saw him working.
Never.
But also, I think that kind of makes sense because, his character, even when he's, working, is supposed to be somebody who's, very self-centered and trying to be, an idol and doing that sort of a thing. So it doesn't, at least in my mind, after I kind of thought about it, it wouldn't really make sense to see somebody whose character is very much, them-centered, doing anything for anybody else. But also, Hidori just came in very, very late.
Mm-hmm.
To the season.
Yes.
And the season's only maybe 10 or 12 episodes long, and so it was kind of they would have had to bring him in earlier to get more of that depth in it.
So what I think is interesting is from what I've read, the Hidari in the manga is a lot more masculine than the anime made him out to be.
Really?
Yeah, a lot more masculine and a lot less phone centric, because in the anime he always had his phone out, but apparently in the manga he doesn't. But it's the masculine part is interesting to me.
That is interesting because it was just a very there was no question at all for me at first when we met Hidari that Hidari was a girl. There was just no confusion, and even seeing some of the later scenes, even when they went skiing, he had no, I guess I expected there to be a little bit more of issue talking about more things about gender and gender expression and how that goes between physical and what you feel as a person. So I expected a little bit more of that from Hidari's character than I think there was.
Japan's not quite on that level yet in terms of discourse.
I think my favorite part, though, about Hidari's character was confidence. Typically with characters that are traps in other forms, I can think of a bunch of them, they don't tend to be as confident in who they are as Hidari is. Hidari just straight up is nah, I like this, I don't like that. These clothes are great, these clothes are not. No, I'm doing this specifically because I want people to help me.
Yeah, and he's I'm adorable. I recognize that I'm adorable. You better recognize that I'm adorable. Cute.
Yeah.
And I'm so into it.
Akizuki. So Akizuki, the otaku nature for Hidari is being an idol, but for Akizuki it is Yuri, which is absolutely wonderful. Because I don't think I know I haven't actually ever really watched an anime in which one of the characters is oh yeah, I'm a Yuri fan. I can't think of any. And it's and then when he talks about Yuri, it's really great that the way that he says, the Yuri is perfectly 100% exactly how, most Yuri fanboys do go about it. And it's just, casual touches. And holding hands is, totally sacrilegious. And sharing desserts. And I'm just oh my god.
I know, but as soon as I saw that, and I was I am a woman if I don't share desserts.
But yeah, I think that's really great for him in general. Otherwise, I think that Akizuki and Mafuyu are the most level-headed characters of the entire show, really.
They are. They're the people that have their shit together the most.
He's also the one person that, I don't know, kind of keeps the entire store going, because I'm pretty sure Dino does not cook.
He doesn't do anything. What kind of a manager is he? He does nothing.
Yeah, Akizuki is so underappreciated. Is he even a student, though?
No, I think he's past college.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think he just, works there.
And I'm pretty sure the reason he works it, because he has a fear of women when he first came to the store with Kaho. So I think, if anything, he's definitely either Mafuyu's age or a little older. I wouldn't say that he's high school at all.
Yeah.
Mostly because he's one of the people that is oh, this is 18 plus,
He was this is not appropriate web.
Anything else for Hakizuki? Whose real first name is Koyo, which I think is interesting.
Oh, that makes sense. Because Akizuki is fall moon, and then Koyo means fall leaves turning colors.
That's so cute.
He has a beautiful name. Anyway, Dino. Maria and I were having this conversation, Kendra, I don't know, when we were still watching the anime and you hadn't watched it yet, so we didn't want to give you any spoilers. We were talking about how Dino's obsessed with Micah.
He is.
I mean, his otaku nature is that he likes otaku stuff. It is his otaku nature. We were talking about how old is he? Micah's 17 years old, and I'm Dino has to be at least 25. and around 30. Like, that's really weird for like a 30-year-old man to be like going after a 17-year-old girl.
I found out that he's 26.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And Micah is indeed 16.
Oh, she's 16. Yes, right. So that's a 10-year gap, which isn't a big deal. But like, also in Japan, the legal age is 20, isn't it, Maria?
Legal age is 20, if not 18.
That gap makes it weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. In general, Dino's character was like literally just for the comedic relief, and I just loved everyone. Like, I really loved Akizuki, and I really loved Mafuyu, and I really loved Derry, and I'm just like, Dino, what are you doing? And then he's a really bad manager. Like, we're gonna be honest.
He's just bad at his job.
Which are all partially why I don't like him. What I do like about him, though, is that he breaks the stereotype of Italian men being really savvy at seducing and wooing women.
Yes.
So that was kind of amusing to watch. I do wonder about the voice acting, though. I keep on going back to this because I love voice actors, but having said that he's from Italy, they seem to kind of make the voice actor use a slight accent, sort of how foreigners, English speakers, or Eurocentric language speaker would pronounce Japanese. You could kind of hear it, but it wasn't fully there. And we're not even sure how long Dina's been in Japan, so I can't really justify how well his pronunciation is, so that was kind of confusing for me.
Yeah, and I guess I couldn't speak to how well Japanese has an accent because I don't speak it, but I think one of the things for me that was super odd was that they were consistent, like when they were in the park and he reacts, he was like, I'm sorry, I switched to my mother tongue. I expected there to be, more of an accent, but even that accent of when he switched to his mother tongue was very much Japanese person speaking Italian rather than...
Which, I mean, at that point comes down to the fact that in anime they don't typically have... So, like, when you have English in anime, typically, like, the English in the anime still has, like, a Japanese accent to it. Mm-hmm. Which is no fault on... Yeah, which is no fault on the person doing it.
That's just how they speak English. It's not that...
Yeah, so...
But yeah, no, my inner linguist was just like, that's weird.
But now that you mentioned that, Kendra, that does bother me how they portrayed his bilingualism. Like, that's not how a bilingual person works.
Linguist,
yeah.
Because we're both linguist nerds, so linguist nerd moment.
Yes, we're linguists and we both speak at least 2 languages, so we well know that switching is not something that happens like they portrayed it in the anime.
Which is actually one of those things that I think happens in typical media anyway, for bilingual people or even people that have more than just 2 languages. They tend to show that it's like the whole like, oh, sorry, I totally forgot to switch out of my other language for a minute.
Yeah, people tend to portray bilingual characters as like an on and off switch between the two. That's not how this works.
It's a whole crazy crap storm spectrum of different languages that pop up in your brain, and sometimes you're not responsible for what comes out of your mouth.
Anytime I call my family or FaceTime them, I usually speak in Japanese, but for some people's names or some certain words that work better in English, I just say in English. So for my friends who are eavesdropping, they can pick up on the bits and pieces of English, but they otherwise can't figure out what I'm saying. So
because loan words,
it'll be like
Anglicisms.
Yeah, it'll be like こないだ Kendra がなんかT シャツを Walmart で買って
Walmart
すっごい可愛かったんだけど it was kind of too big だから
No, that's what totally happens. And then, God forbid, if you're somebody like me where I speak both Spanish and Portuguese, and you have those languages that are very, very similar.
Oh, they're similar.
And you forget the word in one, you start supplementing it with the other language and with a whole bunch of Anglicisms, and it just becomes this whole, like, shitstorm hodgepodge of things that only make sense to the other person in the conversation.
And there are certain words that only work with that kind of nuance. So I'd be talking to my mother and they'd be like, oh, I went to Mirror Lake with my friends and it was just so 懐かしい.
I also remember one time when we were having a conversation, Maria, and you were like, oh, that's the English word for that. And I was like,
yes.
I was like, I don't remember
I do
what
that
the
a
word
lot.
was at all. But I think that's like, either way, Dino did not have that at all. And I think that's just like a trait of typical media when they do show people that have like bilingualism. They just, on and off switch. It's the best way that you said.
Yes, it's just how non-bilingual people write bilingual people.
Yeah. Alright. I guess it's time to wrap up.
Alright, if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe.
If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description below.
And we hope you will join us again at Cafe Hachidori.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye!